Story lessons from the first mistakes of life. The evening breeze brushed lightly across the old apartment block. The moss-covered walls told stories of a past no one wanted to recall. Min stood in front of room 203, his hand trembling slightly. The door before him wasn't just a door. It was the entrance to 10 years of regret and the memories he had tried to bury. 10 years had passed since he left this place in handcuffs, the day his mother collapsed from crying and his father stood frozen, his heart shattering as he watched his son being taken away. Min was only 17, young, reckless, desperate to prove himself. Just a foolish dare from his friends led him to steal a motorbike. They wanted to show off, but when the owner caught them, panic erupted. One of the boys pushed the man to the ground, his head hitting the pavement. He was hospitalized for months. And Min, once a simple high school student, became a criminal. At the trial, Min's mother knelt down, begging for forgiveness, while his father stood in silence, gripping his hand so hard that blood trickled down his fingers. Min could only bow his head, tears falling endlessly. His mistake didn't only destroy his future, it broke the hearts of the ones who loved him the most. He was sentenced to 2 years in a juvenile reformatory, a mark he thought he would never erase. In that place of concrete walls and locked gates, Min spent countless nights awake. He replayed the moment of his arrest again and again. He missed his mother's warm meals, his father's strict but loving words. The most important thing in life is knowing right from wrong. But he didn't listen. And now he was paying the price. Days inside were harsh. Min avoided everyone, scared of judgmental eyes. Only one person spoke to him with kindness, Officer Tan. "You're still young," he often said. "A mistake doesn't define who you are. What matters is how you rise after falling." Those words cracked the darkness inside Min, letting a small light through. He started learning trades, repairing bikes, carpentry, packaging work. He tried hard in every task. His letters home always ended with apologies and hope for forgiveness, but replies were rare. Min understood. Wounds take time to heal. When he finally walked out of that gate, freedom felt heavier than chains. He didn't know if the world had a place for him anymore. He was wrong. No company wanted to hire a former criminal. Some threw his form aside after reading his file. Some even insulted him and ordered him to leave. Every rejection was a reminder of how badly he had ruined his life. Some nights, Min wandered the streets, bright lights above him, but darkness in his heart. He once thought of giving up, but then remembered Officer Than. Don't let your first mistakes decide your entire life. One day, a small opportunity appeared, a dusty motorbike repair shop in a narrow alley. The owner, a stern man in his 50s, looked Min up and down and said, "I don't care who you were. Work well or you're out." Min bowed deeply. Just being allowed to try was already grace. He worked tirelessly, first brooms and boxes, later engines and gears. He never complained. Slowly, the others in the shop stopped treating him like a danger. The owner, though still cold on the surface, sometimes watched him with something like trust. One late evening, while Min was sweeping, the owner spoke quietly. "I once had a son, just like you. He lost his way, but never managed to come back. You still can." Min froze. For the first time, he saw pain and hope in the man's eyes. Since then, the owner taught him more. Complex repairs, real craftsmanship. 3 years passed. Min became one of the best mechanics around, diligent, humble, helping everyone he could. People in the neighborhood liked him, but in Min's heart, one wound remained: his family. Did they still hate him? Would they slam the door in his face? He was terrified of the answer, but the longing to go home kept growing, and today he found the courage to return. When the door opened, his mother stood there, gray hair, wrinkles, exhaustion from a decade of heartbreak. She froze, then burst into tears and embraced him so tightly. "You're home. You're finally home." Min collapsed into her arms, crying like a child. His father stepped out from inside, still stern. Min bowed his head. "I'm sorry. I've hurt you both too much." The father walked closer, placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "Admitting your mistakes and fixing them, that's all I ever asked." In that moment, every weight he had carried for years dissolved. That night, they sat together for a simple dinner: rice, vegetables, nothing fancy. But to Min, it was the most precious meal in the world. He had returned. He had finally forgiven himself. Min knew that his mistakes didn't end his story. They shaped his strength. Tomorrow, he would continue working hard, not for praise, but to be worthy of the love he almost lost forever. Mistakes can break us, but from those mistakes, we learn how to stand. As long as we have the courage to face them, anyone can begin again and shine in their own way. A small choice can change everything. Autumn nights in the city always felt colder than they should. The wind rushed between the gray buildings, swirling fallen leaves into lonely spirals along the pavement. Inside a tiny fourth-floor apartment, Ethan sat motionless in front of a black computer screen, the faint glow of his desk lamp outlining the exhaustion on his face. Ethan was once a top student in game development, full of ambition and ideas. But after countless rejected applications and a growing pile of student loans, his confidence had been crushed. Every day he woke up wondering whether his dreams had been nothing more than wishful thinking. For weeks, sleep barely came to him. The same thoughts haunted him relentlessly. Maybe I should just go home. Maybe I'm not cut out for this dream. His phone buzzed. A message from his sister appeared on the screen. "Ethan, if it's too hard, come home. Mom and Dad miss you." He stared at the message before turning the phone face down. Going home now would feel like surrender. The room felt suffocating. Ethan grabbed his jacket and walked into the chilly night, letting the distant city noises drown his thoughts. He wandered aimlessly until the bright lights of the subway station came into view. A train home was leaving in just a few minutes. Ethan stopped in front of the schedule board. His hometown flashed in bold letters. Departure 0010. Hometown 1. Step into that train and he could leave behind the pressure, the debt, the disappointment. But he'd also be leaving behind the version of himself who once dreamed of building worlds that made people smile. Doubt tugged hard at him. Then he heard the sound of paper scattering nearby. He turned and saw a little girl, no older than 8, scrambling to gather dozens of colorful drawings the wind had just blown across the platform. Ethan rushed over and helped collect them. "Thank you," she said, her voice small, but her eyes bright. "You drew all these?" he asked. She nodded proudly. "Yes, I like creating my own worlds. One day, I'll be a game developer like my dad." The words struck Ethan so unexpectedly that he almost forgot to breathe. He took a closer look at her drawings. Simple, but full of imagination. They reminded him of himself, before life became so heavy. "Where's your dad?" Ethan asked softly. "He's working here," she said, pointing toward the maintenance room. "He always tells me, never stop dreaming even when life gets hard." That sentence pierced right through Ethan's chest, like the universe had chosen this exact moment to speak to him. A man in a technician uniform hurried over. "Amelia." "There you are." He looked up at Ethan. "Thanks for helping her." "She gets lost in drawings all the time." He smiled warmly. Ethan found himself smiling back. "What about you?" the man suddenly asked. "What's your dream?" Ethan hesitated. "I wanted to make games, but right now I'm not getting anywhere." The man placed a reassuring hand on Ethan's shoulder. "You know, a successful game always starts with a tiny idea and someone brave enough to keep going. Just because you haven't arrived doesn't mean you have to stop." Amelia shuffled closer and held up one of her drawings, a tiny caped hero in a blue cloak. "This is a superhero I made up," she said. "You can have it. And if you turn him into a game, I want to play it first." Ethan laughed, an honest laugh he hadn't felt in months. A voice echoed across the station. "Final boarding call for the 0010 train. Doors closing in 5 minutes." Ethan turned back toward the platform. Two paths, two futures, two versions of himself. One who runs away, one who keeps trying. His heart finally spoke louder than his fear. "Good luck," the technician said as he led Amelia away. Ethan clutched the drawing tightly. The train doors slid shut. The wheels began to roll. The train left the station without him, but for the first time in a long while, he felt free. Days later, Ethan powered up his old laptop. He opened a blank project and began modeling a character inspired by Amelia's drawing, the tiny hero with the blue cloak and shining eyes. At first, it was just a small experiment. Then it became passion. Then it became hope. He posted a short demo online, not expecting anything. But people noticed. People loved it. A small indie publisher reached out, offering to help him turn it into a full game. Ethan stared at the message through tears. It turned out he only needed to keep going a little bit longer. Months passed. The game launched. It became a beautiful success. Ethan paid off his debts and moved into a warm little apartment where sunlight finally reached the windows. He tried to contact the station to thank Amelia and her father, but they had already transferred to another city. So he framed Amelia's drawing and hung it above his desk, right next to the logo of the game that changed his life. Whenever someone asked, "What helped you overcome the hardest moment of your life?" Ethan smiled and answered, "A small choice. I didn't get on that train. Just that." And everything changed. Final message: never underestimate a tiny decision. Sometimes staying just one more step, believing just a little longer, is exactly what turns dreams into reality.